Welcome everyone, this is Blender Today Live. Benvenuti, dobro possa volat, Falcoma, buongiorno, benvenuti. Benvenuti, falte, benvenuti. I'm reading all the boa tarde. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenidos. Blender Today Live, it's again another week. Number 34, 35-ish. We are already there. Blender 2.8 beta is still on its way. We enter the month of the beta release. Actually, the target is to release by the end of this month of October the beta of Blender 2.8. So what does it mean? It means that you should be at a point where you could start using it for your own production stuff, and you can start, once it's released, the beta, you can start reporting bugs. So if the hardware is not like the hardware doesn't work properly on the software, doesn't work properly with your hardware. I was reading the comments, by the way. Thank you for the thumbs up. It means the audio and the video, it's okay. So yeah, the beta should be there, and the most exciting part is to have everyone using it and giving feedback. So after the code quest, a lot of the big targets were done, but now it's about polishing. Along this polishing, there are also many other features that were not even planned, but now they are there, such as there's new cloth features, for example, cloth improvements that were added recently. That's amazing. Then interface stuff, little tweaks here and there. The grease pencil keeps getting new things. Today we're going to talk about the new shadow effects on the grease pencil, and there is also a few other things that we're gonna check. The shrink wrap modifier also got updates. We're not gonna cover that because I haven't tested it yet and I don't want to make a mistake. But if you have a video about it, and you made a video about it, by the way, just put it on the chat and I'm gonna check it out here. But besides that, let's get to it. It's Monday. It's 5 minutes past 9 p.m. here in Europe Central Time, and we are answering this live. So let me know in the comments whatever you want to know, and I will try and answer as soon as possible. Yes, because I will try to answer as much as possible too, because next week I might not be doing this live stream because I will be traveling. I will be in a different country. I will be in SIGGRAPH Santiago. Did you know there is a SIGGRAPH Santiago? Yeah, there it's a SIGGRAPH, but in Latin America. So you know there is SIGGRAPH Asia, SIGGRAPH LA, and there's also SIGGRAPH Santiago, where it's gonna be in Santiago de Chile and Valparaíso, in these two beautiful cities, and Concepcion too. Nice. So there we'll be talking about VFX, about animation in general, and there was this little thick boy. It's gonna be giving 2 conferences and 1 workshop, and there. So we'll probably be in Spanish. I didn't even talk about it. Didn't ask them that, but I guess it's gonna be in Spanish. So if you're there, this probably is more interesting for the Spanish live stream, which I'm gonna do in a bit. I didn't make the event live YouTube event, but it's gonna be in a bit. Let's go through what's new here in Blender 2.8. I will try to I'll check how internet is. If internet is it's good, fast enough, I will try and do the live stream. I'm gonna bring pretty much everything here. This is my laptop. So there, let's do some advertising for Caminantes. Okay, I'm gonna bring my laptop and some small gear, like a small microphone stuff. So maybe we can do a live stream from there. And the one in Spanish could be interesting because I will be surrounded by people. So that would be pretty awesome. So okay, let's read what's new. In the meantime, so I'm gonna open one just to cheer with the rest, and I knew this was gonna happen one day. You know, you can have it all for free. All right, so let's see the cloth collision. That's something I already talked about in the intro, and I didn't really wanted to show it because I didn't test it myself. But Luca wrote, the author of this patch, which is already, by the way, in Blender 2.8, so you can test it right away. And I haven't seen other tests from this. I follow the hashtag B3D on Twitter, and I didn't see any other people doing these kind of tests. So I don't know how besides how impressive this is, how easy it is to set it up. So there is this very popular tweet, if you haven't seen it probably, is like 3.7k likes. Like not even a Blender release gets this many usually. Sometimes it does, like 2.8 is gonna, but yeah, it's just people very excited about it, including the the next gen ones. But yeah, this is our face about the new cloud simulation. Unexpected, out of the blue, right? 2.8 is getting better out of the blue. Next, let's you can read more about, by the way, read more about it in the more features cloud page on the wiki. You can check the more features. We should have a dedicated page for this, and the idea is that when 2.8 comes out, there will be a release, like a features page in the release logs on blender.org, so that will be easier to find. For the time being, it's there. But yeah, there should be documentation for this. Actually, developers are meant to write documentation at the same time they write the code, which is a bit unfair, right? Because they already write the code. Why would they also have to write the documentation? This should be done by the users, right? So if you're a user, which you probably are, then write some nice docs and make some nice videos and share them so I can share them here. Grease pencil. So grease pencil is something I can actually show. It's very, very nice and easy to see. So let's open the new Blender, which by the way, I'm gonna talk about because it has a new workspace. Yes, this is the layout workspace, is new, and there is a new template file, which I'm gonna show in a little bit. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's not like you're gonna lose the tune. Okay, yeah, stay tuned. Don't click away from this tab or this app. Let's open one of the files that I just downloaded. It's very nice bouncing ball by Rafa Cano, which you can get on Blender Cloud, by the way. On the Blender Cloud, you can see it here on the sidebar. It's a bouncing ball by Rafa Cano. You click on it and it's free for everyone. You don't need a Blender Cloud account. You can just get it. You can just download it from here for free. You don't even need an account. So the new thing is this shadow modifier effects, shader effects modifier. So for example, let's say I want to have a little shadow on this character. So I select it. Yes, I have it selected. I will just add a shader effects, this little star over here, add effect shadow, and it will basically do that. It will just make like a copy of your current drawing. So if you draw, it will make a shadow, and that's pretty much it. It's very, very straightforward. So if we make it like this, you will see that as soon as you draw, it will have this shadow. The cool thing though is that it has a few options that make it very interesting. Not the wave effect. The wave effect, I think it goes really well with another feature, which is use object as pivot. So you can use another object as a rotating point, because you can actually rotate it now. You see? So if I rotate it like this, it's almost like a shadow, but it's offset because the center of the object is right here. So I will have to go like here and then put it up and down and then try and match it over here. But it's actually better if you just use an object, because then you just move it around and it's independent. Like if you move the character around, then it will be more very easier to position. So let's do it. I will go to object mode. I'm gonna set my overlays, and let's enable the 3D cursor on the ornament. So that way when I place my empty over here, let's place an empty. Oh, the image, by the way, did you see this one? I'm gonna show it in a bit. Let's show the sky, and let's use this empty as a pivot point. Use object as pivot, empty, and then I can just rotate it 180, and bam. Now, if I play the animation, there is a little shadow that I can even blur. Can even apply some blur in there, increase the samples, and you can have a nice blurry shadow, or no shadow and wave effect, so it's like it's in the water. You should animate the period though, and then lower the amplitude. Very cool. Anyway, very nice shader effects. So it's something that it's yeah, it depends on the viewport. So if you move around, you see that it's actually yeah, it's like a copy with a wave modifier ish. Very crazy. Next, what's next? The viewport got improvements for weight painting, wireframe toggling, edit curve, surface and drawing. Surface drawing, yes. When you edit curves, that was just mainly like fixes on the way the points on the curves are drawn on top of the mesh or not on top of the curves. Then wireframe toggling got improved, because when you switch to wireframe now with the Z or the Z toggle, you will see that they are, oh, actually this is not factory settings. There you go. I noticed that the colors were wrong, because today I changed the way the colors, these colors were shown. So basically made it so that when the option is toggle, like in this case, when you press Z, you'll have this pie menu, and the options that are on are in blue, like in the rest of Blender. So if they're toggled on, you can go and see their state right away. Otherwise, it was hard to see which ones. So you press the way you use pie menus. Yeah, and I've seen some people on videos explaining how to use pie menus. I always forget to do that, but I assume people using this are a bit more familiar. Basically, the pie menu is you press one key and it opens, and then the fast way of using a pie menu is not by just clicking on the option set and then clicking, but just moving your mouse. So you click set and then you move your mouse in the direction that you want, and when you reach that like a threshold, it will shut off. It will just go away. So that way you can easily set right, set left. With that little how to use the pie menus, you will see that now the options are on. They're actually in blue. And you will also notice that when you're in solid mode, I have X-ray toggled off. So I don't see through the objects, which is like the normal way of working in solid mode. But when I go to wireframe mode, X-ray is actually on. See, it is on. So I can actually see through my mesh. So if I add a monkey, I will see through the mesh here. I think, what do you think? I think that wireframes should be 1.0 like maximum by default. I think when you start Blender, this should be the default. Like you should see all the wires, and then if you want, you could just show less wireframes. The reason why this was done by like this, it was implemented like this. I saw there was a here in the dev talk. I think I've seen in the user feedback, there was one thread where it was like, oh, why did you do that? Why are you showing only a few of the wires? Why are you not showing all the wireframes all the time? Well, mainly because to not change the way it was from 2.7, at least in one thing. So if you remember Blender 2.7, when you add a mesh, for example, you subdivide it multiple times. In edit mode, you only see the edge, and if you, for example, change this mesh, you will only see the vertices that change, that they're not planar, not coplanar. So in that case, it looks a bit cleaner, but yeah, it looks a bit weird. So this is the default in Blender 2.7, and in 2.8, that was the idea, and it will be the same default, so it doesn't go against the rules, right? But I think now it's a good time to switch and always show all the wireframes, unless we want to change it. We want to see something else. So yeah, this is the way it works now. It's pretty cool. basically, like the summary is that the X-ray option, which used to be only one option for every mode, like you see through or not, now it's two options. It's X-ray, the name is the same, but one is when you are using solid mode, which is this one, to see through your meshes. So if you are like this, you can see through, which is very neat, very, very useful too. But it's decoupled from the other one in wireframe mode. So you can not have it enabled in wireframe mode, so you only see whatever is in front, or you could have it enabled and then you see through and you see all the objects behind as well. Basically, it got decoupled. That's it. That's all the story. Let's continue. Pie menus are now used for snap, pivot, and proportional editing. Yes, so pie menus. Pie menus. They're in more places now. I wouldn't say everywhere, but I was about to say like they're everywhere, but no, they're not. They we should be careful where we put them because they are useful in some situations, but not in every situation. In some of them, they actually are a bit more confusing. If we have way too many options, it's just like a wall of settings that it defeats its purpose, right? It's supposed to be fast to make your workflow faster. But if you have way too many options, or they are all over the place, or they have big names, such as, for example, Shift S. Shift S is the snapping menu in Blender 2. Everything. If we open Blender 2.7, Shift S is the snapping to selection to grid, to cursor with the offset and active. And the same for cursor the other way around, instead of the selection to the cursor, to execute snapping with the cursor in mind. Thing is, every time I open this menu, I always have to read. Like, it's never super clear to me like which one I have to use. I have to think. It's like, okay, select cursor to selected, that one is easy. I always do it. But the other ones, like selection to cursor, okay, which one? Active or the offset, is like you always have to think. So maybe in a way, when the first time I opened this pie menu, I was a bit shocked. I was like, to be honest, I was like, what is going on here? Way too many options, too much text, too many icons. Maybe that is something that we should change, the icons. We should like at least get rid of some of them, or shorten the text. Like some of them are a bit too long. But anyway, after a second thought on this, then it actually made sense how this was how this is set. It's, for example, the cursor to the grid. If we want to do grid snapping, the two main options are on the left and on the right. So cursor to the grid and then cursor selection to the grid. So that is like one way of thinking about it. Then if you want to do cursor staff selection or the cursor to selected, you use the up and down axis. So after you learn that, you just go Shift S up, Shift S down, and then it will move the cursor there. So in a way, at first it was shocking, but after I only have to learn a few directions and remember them, and then I don't have to think anymore because the thinking time is here anyway. So yeah, after a while of consideration and a shocking morning when I saw this, I think I like it. I would, though, swap some of this option around. The cursor to center, for example, I would change the name because right now it's called cursor to center. We have center of what? If I have 3 objects, it doesn't mean that it will be the center of those objects. It actually means that it will be the origin of the world. That sounds very epic, the origin of the world. Which actually means just 0, 0, 0 coordinates. So it's just Shift S and then cursor to center, and it will put it there. So I will rename this, I think, to world origin, I guess. I already changed the tooltip, but I never changed the actual name of the tool because it's gonna break scripts and stuff. But I think it's a good time to break scripts anyway. Yeah, and that would be what I will change. Then the pie menus are also now on the comma and in the dot. This was also another shocking moment. because I use this tool all the time. I'm here, like to change between rotating around the selection or the cursor, for example, I would just press dot and comma, and then I knew that comma was this, and then dot was always around the cursor. So for me, it was very fast. But to be honest, I always had to press both, like, and just look at the header, because I never remember which one was which, like dot or comma, which one. So now, when I first opened this, I was a bit like, what? But then, again, after second thoughts, you only need to, like, you're still pressing the same key, but just moving them in a direction that you remember. And in this case, it's just doing left or right to have the same effect that I used to have before. And then when you have other settings that you want to use, you just need to remember that direction. So it's not extremely bad either, but it was shocking, I'm gonna say. I wasn't very shocked, I was. What do you think about these pie menus? They're shocking, but maybe we should have an option to disable all pie menus altogether, and then just show it plain, maybe a toggle, just toggle all pie menus, and it will just show them as a menu, maybe. Let's see. The improvements I already mentioned, pie menus mentioned. Add-ons can now register tabs and panels in the sidebar of the 3D view. Yes, what does it mean? In Blender 2.7, I always use 2.7 as a reference, just to show you. So every add-on would use and abuse the left. Well, actually, they could put things everywhere, right? From left, right, they could put stuff all over the place. So they could put tools and commands and options and everything here in the N panel or in the T panel. There was really no rules about it. It was just like, okay, this is the playground, go guys, do whatever you want. And it can get a bit out of control. So in 2.8 there is a bit more control, there is a bit more rules about it, and the playground for the add-ons, where they can show everything they want, is the sidebar. What is the sidebar? It's the N panel, basically the N sidebar, the one you press N to open. That's the name of this sidebar in 2.8. Instead of calling N or T, it's just toolbar and sidebar. So yeah, basically when you add add-ons, you can register them to be here, and it will open like a right. I don't have any enabled here, I think, any of the add-ons, because none of them are really activated. Let's open a bunch of them. No, I still didn't enable anything that has, hey, okay, this one is not updated. This one is actually opening in the illegal area of the sidebar, but it's not really illegal actually. If the add-ons wants to have active tools, then they could. They have this beautiful sidebar to add active tools, and then they have the toolbar for the active tools, and they have the sidebar for anything else. So that way, at least it's a bit easier to find, and the add-ons can behave a bit better within the Blender ecosystem. Let's call it that way. New Python API for material input output based on shader nodes, what's added? Yes, so remember the OBJ add-on that so many people were asking about? Well, it's now back in Blender 2.8. It's available now in Blender 2.8. So if you search for OBJ, you can now import and export. It's one of the few that is enabled for Blender 2.8, and you can just use it right now. At first, when it was first implemented, it was missing a feature which was basically importing and exporting of materials. So it meant that it will export your mesh without any materials, for example, or import them. After a few days after that commit, Bastian implemented some basic support for material exporting and importing using nodes, because Blender 2.8 has cycles and Eevee both using nodes. It doesn't have Blender internal, so it is great news. So you see, it's another good thing about removing Blender internal is that these kind of things, the development can happen. I kind of miss Blender internal, but still having import and export and a Python API to be able to create node trees and all of that is pretty interesting for input and output, for exporting and importing. So only basic support is added, so be aware. And but that's a start, right? Awesome. Multi-object editing for mesh editing and UV is now basically complete. So it means that now you can do all kinds of stuff, all the UV unwrapping and UV editing, and also mesh editing with multiple objects at the same time. So you select multiple, go edit mode, and you can execute all of the regular UV editing stuff, tools in multiple objects at the same time. What we live in the future. We live in the future. Next, the movie clip editor interface has been updated. There's no pictures, too bad, but basically the movie clip editor, it's now it was a bit behind in regards of the UI, like when the interface got updated for all the other parts, but the movie clip editor was behind. Not anymore, thanks to Sebastian Koenig. He worked on it, and now if you want to start doing some VFX, which you can do with the new template system, you will see that the movie clip editor now, the interface is a lot closer to what the rest of Blender is. So I don't have any video here, but you will see when you use it. Then the templates have been updated and the new icon set is almost ready. So I'm gonna show the template now in a bit, but yes, in this week, actually almost today, there is some icons that are almost ready for today that they were not committed, because if they were committed, it would mean that all of the icons in Blender would be monochrome, would be white. Basically text color, not one color, but not white or black, so basically the text color. So it will follow the text. If the text is white icons. But it meant, it sounds really good in practice, like in theory, but when you use it, you miss the color in some parts. For example, the outliner. So after you have all the icons in white here, for example, you would see, you start to feel how like you miss a visual feedback to tell what is a collection and what is an object, what is the object data. So there will be a feature that will allow theme control of those color code icons, for example. So you could have the icon, and then instead of taking the color of the text, it will have a color orange, blue, green, whatever, based on the context that it is there. So if the icon is used for objects, then it means that you could have a color to control that. So that is really good news. Yes, it will be awesome, but it's not there yet. So that's why it didn't got committed today. It could be committed tomorrow, the day after, but ideally before Wednesday. So this week is going to be pretty crazy. I hope I can do a live stream next week, because there will be quite some changes. There will be, well, the new templates is already here that I'm going to show now, but the icons, that will be pretty big. And there's also another feature that is coming up, that is the units system. It's going to have a option to display always the same units. So if you have, instead of having like now meters, millimeters, centimeters, and kilometers, you will have an option to always display the same unit everywhere, like always centimeters. So here we'll have like 1,000 centimeters, 0.5, 0.05 centimeters, and that kind of stuff. But it's not there yet. It's being worked on. It's under review. The code is there. It's under review. It was coded by Jacques Luc. Everything nodes and more, as you can see. All right, let's get to it. Let's see the templates. When you open Blender now, okay, let me have a drink. Let's see, where are the comments? Everything is fine. I'm not even reading the comments. Okay, everything is okay. I'm not talking to no one now. Okay, stretch, crack. Wow, that really cracked. start your Blender factory settings. If you want to have the latest and greatest, every now and then, while you're testing Blender 2.8, you should consider resetting your Blender your factory settings. So you just go to File, Load Factory Settings, and then you are using 2.8 the way it's meant to be used. So in this case, when you start the new Blender 2.8, you'll have a new workspace called Layout. So basically, it's what happened to sound? What? Okay, everything is okay. I hope. Give me a thumbs up again. I'll continue talking to no one. Okay, everything's okay. Yes, this new template, sound is fine. Okay, thank you. The new layout workspace allows you to move objects around and animate, because it has a little timeline down here, and maybe with this collapsed there, and it has a slightly bigger outliner, so you can move your objects around and do everything without actually thinking about modeling. So by default, before, the workspace that was open when you open Blender was modeling, but that means that you either start Blender in edit mode, which it can be a bit weird, or you just assume that the modeling will always be in object mode, which is, if it's the modeling workspace, then why not just have it as editing in, like, I don't know. Modeling should be in edit mode. So there was the need for another workspace, which is the layout, which in a way, actually, if you open Blender 2.7, this is kind of similar, right? It's like a lost brother. It's a timeline. It's basically the same, but with the Blender 2.8 improvements, of course, with the bigger outliner. Instead of being in the render settings, it's now going to be in the object settings, and basically in object mode, so you can move things around. And if you want to edit something, you can just do so by going to the modeling workspace, which will switch to edit mode when it's enabled. So make sure you know what you're selecting, because if you have lots of objects that are very heavy, and then you go back here, it will switch to edit mode immediately. And it will, if you have way too many objects selected with edit mode, then it might take a little bit. But that doesn't happen that often, right? Doesn't? Anyway, I think it's pretty exciting to have a dedicated layout mode and dedicated modeling mode as well. You might notice up here that there is this guy popping up. Okay, besides being an error, there is also the notifications panel system. Instead of showing up in the status bar at the bottom, which was a bit hard to discover, is now on the top to the right. So it's in the header, so you're always gonna see it. It's available on every main window, and yeah, basically it just shows up there and is easier to spot. There is a small issue, I think, right now, like it's not updating properly. Like if you do something, you have to move your mouse here for it to update. That will be fixed. I mentioned this to Brecht today. It's gonna fix that, and let's get to it. I already showed the layout. Now there's sculpting. So you know, when you're doing anything pretty much here in Blender, you can switch to the sculpting workspace anytime, and once you're there, it will be automatically move into the sculpting mode, sculpt mode, with a Madcap, with some cavity shaders, with all the goodies and stuff here in this object by default. So nothing really new here, except that you can start this from within the splash screen or when you create a new file. So that means that in order to start sculpting, you only have to open Blender, click sculpting, and you immediately, without, like, let's do it again because it's crazy. Look, one hand, you go sculpting, and then you start sculpting. Look, man, no hands. Well, almost one hand. So yeah, basically you can just start sculpting right away. Big improvement in terms of giving sculpting a lot more visibility. Yes, the sculpting needs some love. Yes, I've seen the video from oh, thank you, Saad. That's very nice. Thank you. You could ask anything if you want. Yes, I saw the video from Zacharias where he's proposing to have a code quest for the sculpting mode, sculpting in Blender in general. I think that will be pretty great. The hardest, like, I will totally support it. The hardest part would be to find a developer that is up to the task for that, because it's not only a one developer thing. I think it's more of a team, like a group effort, because it can tackle so many things, like little things like making the cursor follow the shape of the mesh, or making the system support more vertices. So okay, that's a completely different task. One is interface, the other one is crazy. Then you can have vertex paint, brush system being improved. You could have so many other features that it's hard to find one developer that would do it. So yes, we should have this, but it's just hard to find a person to do it, or many people to do it. Let's get with the questions, otherwise I'm not gonna manage to answer. Can I give you a hug, a virtual hug? No, it doesn't let me. Okay, Saed, thank you very much, appreciate it. Okay, let's go all the way up to the questions. So this is as much as it lets me. You can hear the scrolling, and you can see the mouse now moving, just to rule out any battery issues. All right, let's get to it. Question time. I should have a music for this. Let's see if I can put a music for. No, I don't have. Oh yeah, but I'm gonna leave you there. This one. Did you hear it? It's like the Mario, because we are switching into the question mode. All right, let's see. Let's see. Do you know if Antonio has seen the request to add shape keys to Grease Pencil? I don't know, like, personally. I talked with him today. Something completely, something different. We checked the dev talk, but he asked a question. We were asking a question here how to do it, but no, I haven't. I don't know that. I haven't checked that with him, but you should. Yeah, you can ask him, or we can ask him. He's probably here live, and we can ask. See, but I bet he's thought about it. Hope you brought your beer. Yes, I did, and today is a one from Belgium. It's a triple Cameliet. So this is not sponsored. I wish they were sponsored. No, I rather have a like a computer sponsor, so I can use Eevee and not kill my computer. Quicks. Are the new icons just going to be white on dark? I like the colorful icons. Also, now buttons feel slower to find because you have to look for a shape and not just a color. Yeah, well, right now the issue is that everything is it's a mix. But once you see them, I think it's not gonna be too bad. And also, we have a bit too many icons. I think for the modifiers, for example, do we really need one icon per modifier? When we have more modifiers, or when we have modifier nodes, for example, do we really need one icon for every modifier? Maybe not. Like, for example, the nodes, they don't have icons, right? So I don't know. Maybe they could be color coded depending on what they do. But yeah, it won't be all of them white on black. There will be the color of the text. So in this case, for example, there will be white. Here there will be white. But in a somewhere where it's dark, it will be like a dark background. There will be white. Otherwise, the other way around. So that's the idea. But let's see. This week, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, Wednesday, they're gonna be updated. and you will be able to play with them. There is a thread on Blender Artists, if I'm not wrong, Blender Artists, and soon there will be one here in the Dev Talk forum. But there is one about the icons somewhere here. I think it's Blender 2.8. New icons for Blender 2.8 here. So the discussion is going on here, but there will be this discussion will be moved to the official forum, because otherwise here you need a forum, an account in this forum, and it's not. Yeah, it should be all like, they should be more informal, and then the official one should be on the other side. It's hard to see, but I think after a while we'll get used to it and it won't be too bad. For example, I really like the way that Godot engine is doing it, and with the color-coded icons, but they don't feel like I have to scan through them. It's just easy to find them. Like the shape is very clear. That I like. So, for example, if I see here, I don't know, they're color coded, but they're simple, they're nice, little, a bit thick even, but just very, I don't know, descriptive. Even there's a circle, but still is a node, and I don't know. I like this style. It's readable, but at the same time, it doesn't mess with the rest of the interface. So good job, Godot engine. This is another person here requesting frame. Hi, Sam, sorry, I didn't see the message. Requesting frame interpolation for Grease Pencil, frame in betweening. Yes, so basically you could go from one frame to the other and it will morph in between those. That feature, I heard it's coming, so I should gladly send this to the developers. Remember, this is just not this is me on my free time. It's not official Blender stuff, but I really appreciate the effort. I will do my best to find the Grease Pencil guys and give it to them. P. Ramirez, hey Pablo, any chance of an Eevee shadow catcher? I think yes. I don't think that should be too hard to do, but it's not a priority right now. But I heard that it shouldn't be too complicated to do. But that's what I heard. Do I set this? How do I set camera array forward in Eevee? I don't think it's implemented there yet. Scary fish. Most important question. Where are the guys going to do? When are the guys going to do another podcast? Well, let's see. No, it's not here yet. It might be coming soon, but the production of Spring is coming to a very steep moment. Actually, in just a matter of 1 month, it's gonna like 3 more people are going to join the team, so it's gonna be tricky. Next, hey Pablo, love from Norway. Hi Norway, love to Norway. I am a bit confused about Eevee versus Cycles for VFX. Is Eevee accurate enough to give you correct lighting shadow calculations just like Cycles? No, Eevee is not as precise as Cycles. That's what Eevee is target at real time to be as fast as possible. Should look awesome, but as fast as possible. So the emphasis is on speed and having something that it looks good fast. If you want precision, you should go with Cycles, because also Cycles renders better like on a render farm, and you could crank up all the settings and then have even more precision. So yeah, precision, go to Cycles. Fast previews, still good looking. Remember the Emmy, the Blender Artists, the Emmy Awards were, oh, they changed that already. They were using the Eevee. So you can have good looking stuff, you can have pro stuff, but it's gonna take time. So just do it with Cycles, both. Is there any chance we can have global shadows from sunlight in Blender Eevee? Global shadows, like parallel shadows. Yeah, that is tricky, but it's, you could do the other shadows, the physical shadows, but no, for the time being, not that I know. It's not on the roadmap that I know, at least for now. I think the focus right now is to make Eevee work on as many different computers as possible. So test it with different hardware and test it all over the board. The Joe Company says, when will weight paint work with limit selection to visible? Turn off in case it is, wait. Weight paint with limit selection to visible. So if you have many objects and then you go to weight paint, which one is the limit selection to visible? This one. I will have to check on that. I don't get the question itself. What is your opinion about Houdini? I believe it will become Blender's main competitor in the future. I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I haven't tested Houdini, and I know they have a Linux version, so maybe, do they have like a trial? I should test it. If they have a free trial, I should check it out. Free download, let's see. Oh, you have to log in. That's lame. Software shouldn't make you log in to download. It just should download. It said free download here. It didn't say like, give me your email and then you can download. But at some point I should test it, because yeah, somebody once said and gave a good point, saying that in the Blender Institute we have this policy of not using anything else than open source. We should only use open source software. But yeah, that's kind of limiting in a way, right? If you are in the Blender Institute, we are at work, yes, that makes sense. But maybe if we're at home, we should also try other software just to see what's up in the industry, right? What's new, what are the trends, what's happening. Not to copy paste, of course, because that's not the goal. Like, we have the freedom to do anything we want, really, so we don't have to follow any of those like copy paste. We don't have to be a copycat. We can do it better. We can do it different in a Blender philosophy kind of way. So, but it will be good for inspiration. I haven't tried yet, but I really like them. I met some of these people at SIGGRAPH in the past, and they were super nice and super open. They show how Blender works with it, and it's yeah, they're the good guys, I think. And also Next Gen, the movie from the Netflix movie from Tangent Animation, they used both Blender and Houdini, both. They mixed it. So it looks like a promising pipeline, both of them. Magical Cyros says, with a new clothing improvement, can we expect a marvelous designer-like feature set? I don't think that's the goal. It's just, I think once we have the interactive mode, we'll know more. But yes. Interactive mode, imagine this kind of yes, that's this kind of physics in real time where you can move things around. That is very promising. Current 2.8 viewport gizmo does not turntable rotation. Can that be made trackball or at least gizmo button? So when you're here, this should be made trackball. That's what you mean. It does turntable. Yeah, actually it should follow the setting, right? So if you're here in the input and you select the good one, trackball, then it should follow. Or not. No, actually it doesn't. Good point. Yeah, no, it should follow the setting. It should allow you to rotate as weird as you want. If you want weird, you should have weird. Otherwise, you have inconsistent. You're in the viewport rotating like this, and then you're in here. Yeah, good point. I didn't know this. Will this ever be fixed? And it sends me a link to developer.blender.org. So let's see. Sandrino Kelders. This one. ghosting of geometry. 2.8. What from 2015? No, July 15, 2018. So apparently there is like some ghosting in the mesh, right? Yeah, but that looks like hardware issues. Like just it's not really and it's on a Mac. Mac is the least developed at the moment, because we don't have many Mac users among the developers, but we do have developers. Like Ton has a Mac, so it yeah, and it will work everywhere. But for the time being, it's just a matter of time. Once we get the beta and more people can provide feedback and run tests and everything, then this should be tackled eventually. But yes, for the release, more than sure. Show us the new icons, please. No, I haven't. I don't have the icons right here. Oh, another one. Can we have a split and delete? Thank you, Postal Pete. Blender today, can we have a split and delete half option for the mirror modifier? Boolean subtract mirror workaround is a bit finicky. So basically it's a split and delete half option for the mirror modifier. So when you have a mirror modifier, you want to be able to split and delete half option for the mirror modifier. So you can, what is it, like an option here that you will want to have? By the way, these new options are great. What is a UV offset, and these are new. Interesting. Anyway, can we have? Yes, we could delete half for the mirror modifier. Would you? It's just a button to delete the other half. That doesn't sound too hard to do, right? Like it says select half, so you should be able to do to select. Yeah, it should be possible. Sorry, I can't answer this one, but thank you, very kind of you. But I can't. Yeah, that's something that should be possible. At the age of 14, I was fighting people Street Fighter. That's not me. Cranky Pete says, when are you gonna post that build Blender tutorial? Can't get it to work. I should do it right. Yes. When I was gonna do it, I had the Blender libraries were in the middle of being updated, so I didn't get to do it. But yes, I should do it, and I should do it maybe this week before leaving, and then I can maybe post it next week. Yeah. Okay. Awesome Vindicator says thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, that's just a very nice comment to keep the Blender community informed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Issues VFX. And do you know if tangent animation will be at the Blender conference? I think so. Blender.org/conference. By the way, did you know that the schedule is already there? So if you're planning what to see, you will see now that they are here. So tangent. Oh, it's not here. Can't search for tangent. Then, oh, maybe no, they're not coming. Anyway, at least you know that now there's a schedule for the Blender conference 2018. There's a crash on Windows. There are many crashes, but if there's a crash, you should be able to, like, if you can reproduce this crash, please report it. Go to Blender, help report a bug, and it will open a browser where you can submit your crash. If it's 2.8, you can submit crashes only for the time being. Linux Debian asks, Blender 2.8 crashes when I open, just click on System tab, but why? If you can reproduce, please, and you can also submit your system info. You can go to help, save system info, so we know at least what is crashing. But if it's a crash, it should be easy to reproduce, so please report it. LaPC asks, already using 2.8 for projects. Nice. Can't wait for multi-resolution to get implemented. That is being worked on. Bad news though is that the developer that is working on it, it went on holidays, so it won't be anytime sooner than 2 or 3 weeks. Yes. Peter, hi Pablo. Hi. Screw tool is not working in 2.8. It's only accessible search. Oh, no, it's not an intention. No, it should be, if it's not here, then it should be available in the menus. No, how to report this? Yeah, this is a weird one. Can you tweet at me, please, or leave it in a comment, and then I remember to add it back to us, the developers, tomorrow, because these kind of things we need to keep track. But you can report bugs yet. Oh, maybe you can put it in the dev talk forums here. You can ask for it like a feedback. Where is it? And there is a new topic. By the way, this week also we're gonna have the new HDRI Images. So if we search for the call for content, there is a selection by Willem from the ones that got posted, and also from the ones from the HDRI Haven, which, if you don't know what it is, it's pure awesome. It's free textures and HDRIs, so check it out. We are using those, and with that in mind, we made a list. Willem made a list, and he chose 10, from which I removed 2 of them, so now we have 8, because this adds a little bit to the weight of Blender, maybe a couple megabytes. So we want to keep it like flexible, but since now you can add your own, we shouldn't add all of them there. And we're also updating the Madcap for the Zebra Madcap, this one with the lines, because this is how it looks, the current Madcap, and this user, Rainer Trammer, proposed a better solution, so we're going to use this one. If you find these kind of issues where we mistakenly picked the wrong image, or there is a better option, just let us know, poke us until we get tired, because we always want, everybody wants the best Blender version possible, right? So if we pick the one that looks a bit fuzzy, then there are ways to fix that, or the one that doesn't work or something. Another one, no request, just a thank you. I am here for Clement. Oh, Martin Lidenoff, thank you. You should follow him on social media. He posts cool, great stuff. Thank you. I will buy a beer for Clement. I don't know how many euros SA that is, but I bet we will split the beer. Thank you. Is it possible? You should come to the Blender conference, by the way. Hi, Da Silva Severino. Is it possible to add into overlays menu one line with these 3 options? Show FPS, screencast, show graphic card reference. Possible to add into overlays menu. Well, you could do it with an add-on. But yeah, the show FPS is a global setting, is in the user preferences. It's not a per viewport thing. It's always here. It's a playback FPS that show up here. But yeah, with an add-on you could do it. So thank you. Kaijion asks, what do you think about having a hover-only icon to indicate a corner of a window can be dragged out? Right now, it lacks a clear visual indicator. Well, yes, and like the indicators on the corner, hover only. Yeah, that could help. But I mean, you still have, when you mouse over, having an icon, it's almost the same as having this cross, right? So it should be maybe another icon, the one with the arrow for, yeah, maybe. If I was teaching, I would always teach that you can right click on the side and then split, I think. Or even better, I will teach them about F4. So use F4 and then you can horizontal split, or F4 vertical split, and then that you don't have to be remembering or which corner you were in. In Blender 2.7, the problem was that only some corners would work. In 2.8, all of the corners work, so you don't have to remember which ones did and which ones didn't. Hey, how many times is this appearing? Okay, thank you. I don't know. Thank you, Martin. Okay, it's 5 minutes past. Let's do the last five questions. I have to do my own the sound effects. Adriano says, why depth of field does not work on Grease Pencil for 2.8? That's a limitation at the moment. It is planned to work eventually, but it's not possible at the moment. It's just a limitation, sorry. Are there any plans to support touchscreens? Yes, there is planned, but it's not there yet. King says, press left mouse button when R in the viewport. Left mouse button when R in the viewport. R, left. I'm not sure I follow, sorry. There's a campus party in Latin America as well, really? Nice. Cedric, can you add a loading bar for when the UI thread freeze when there is a background activity? Most of the time there is, like when it's supposed to be something rendering the background there, it should work, but not always. And it's not always reliable to know when there is an activity in the background happening because of multi-threading. And yeah, it's hard to tell when something's gonna freeze the UI. You could be using your graphics card for the display and for rendering, so that will always freeze it. So it's hard to tell. It's not very reliable, and showing progress bars all the time is not the best either. Usually when something freezes, the operating system takes care of adding the wheel. David Manny says, I don't even know how many questions. Okay, let's do 4 more. David Manny says, I want to know why there is tabs in tool shelf or image editor, for example. Why there is tabs in the tool shelf of image editor? Well, you're in the image editor and there is tabs in the tool shelf. Well, this is because of work in progress. These panels over here, they should become panels over here in the top bar. This is just missing work. We should need to work on it a bit more. 3 questions. And Silva, okay, Lois Fernandez, about RTX cards. Yes and no. Not 2.80, but 2.81, hopefully. Oh yeah, this I actually, the FPS, the screencast. The screencast keys add-on, by the way, there is someone in Blender today that made an update for that. If you search here for screencast, here. Yai Anam made the add-on basically. It's on the YouTube. He explains on the YouTube channel, and he made basically a very basic version for Blender 2.8 to work in Blender 2.8. It's exactly the same, and he put it on GitHub, so you should check it out. Go to blender.today and you can search for screencast. 3 more questions, I think. Don't talk about Animation 2020. Any news, or is it planned after the beta? After the beta, after 2.8 is like, it's 2020. We're 1.5 years away. So let's see how 2.80 goes. But basically it's an update to the Blender animation system. But by then we're also gonna have interactive mode, so yeah. Okay, 2 more questions. Gustavo Rosa. Hi there, Gustavo. How and when can I contribute the documentation? I have some experience in developing training material. In blender.org, there is the Get Involved section. Documentation. Here you can read more about the documentation. You can see how to get involved, how to use the manual. Hopefully this is still working. Yes. How you can install the manual, build it, and then you can subscribe to the mailing list and get in touch with other people about the documentation. But I should make videos about it just to make it better and easier. Last question, Tyrone. They shouldn't have put the dots around the widgets beside the navigation widget in the top right. Dots around the widgets. This. I don't know if it's clutter. I think it will look better once they don't have the black outline. If we lose the black outline, I think it's gonna be just okay, because that way you you don't lose them. They're not just floating around. Maybe the circle could be smaller, but I'm not really bothered by this. But we can change it anytime. Okay, I'm losing my voice. It's been great, actually. Oh Jesus, another one. Thank you very much. I was trying first time Blender for video editing. It was too slow comparing to Adobe Premiere. If yes, I know you have a great computer and Blender sequencer is slow, but if you use the Power sequencer add-on, you will be amazed, because it not only adds a lot of like tweaks and new tools and everything, it also allows you to render in with multiple threads. So basically you can you should read this tutorial. You should watch this video by GD Quest on YouTube. He explains how to use it, and you can basically export the video using multiple blenders. It's a script, it's a hack. It opens many blenders, exports at the same time, and then puts them all together. So yeah, it is kind of a bit of a hack, but it's a good one, and you should check it out. They really are using the video editor for production, for their own YouTube channel. So yes, we should support this kind of development. All right, I will quit now for today. Oh, and yeah, cgraph, Santiago.cgraph, just as an advertisement where I'm going to be next week, next Monday. All right, I will see you again in the next week, hopefully, otherwise the week after. And I will let you know on Twitter, Facebook, and everything. Here below you can see all the social media stuff. And if we're missing anything, just let me know. I will go as always with the music of the King Gille theme. If you're wearing headphones, watch out. I might be a bit too loud. Hopefully not. In 5, 4, 3. There you go. I will see you again, hopefully next week. Otherwise, I will let you know when. Then the week after for sure, or the after for sure. Yes. Ciao.